Welcome back to the Two-Way Report. In the world of firearms and gun regulation, there is always something happening behind the scenes. And if you're like most of us, you have a 9 to 5 and can't keep up with the ATF's non-stop flip-flopping, then this video is for you. We'll dive into some of the things the ATF is doing right now that you probably missed. From updates on bump stock regulations to the pistol brace fiasco, we'll cover it all. So, if you want to stay informed on the latest developments in gun law and regulation, keep watching. The pistol brace fiasco. Pistol braces have been in the crosshairs of anti-2A gun control activists for a while now, and just last January, after flip-flopping a couple times, the ATF caved to the anti-gun administration's whims, changing their rules on the legality of the use of pistol braces. You may remember that the ATF had ruled in 2012 and 2014 that pistol braces were lawful to possess, purchase, transfer, and even shoulder. However, they have recently decided to make it a felony to attach these braces to any gun with a barrel shorter than 16 inches, leaving many of us law-abiding gun owners confused and frustrated. In a nutshell, the only way you can use pistol braces is if you fill out the ATF's Form 4999 and pay the $200 fee, which is pointless. You may as well buy a proper stock for a true SBR setup, but then your existing pistol brace becomes useless. According to reports, there may be as many as 40 million of these pistol braces in circulation, meaning that a lot of people are now facing a difficult decision. They have 120 days from January 31st to either destroy, detach, or permanently alter their brace so that it cannot be reattached. It just leaves you feeling like you've lost some of your hard-earned money, as pistol braces aren't exactly cheap, costing anywhere from $100 to $250 on average. So, the question is, assuming you decide to get a proper AR stock for your firearm, what do you do with your pistol brace? Should you even keep it? Probably not. Parts can become guns. Yes, if you didn't know, legally speaking, parts can be considered guns when they're in close proximity to one another. The aforementioned information is based on the case U.S. v. Thompson Center Arms Company, which dates back to the early 1990s. It is crucial to exercise caution in storing firearms, especially those that can be assembled into no lawful configuration. Improper storage could lead to violations of SBR laws, which carry severe penalties of up to 10 years in prison per firearm. The absence of grandfathering provisions makes matters worse, leaving owners with no recourse. Although there is a free e-form available for residents in states that allow SBRs, it is estimated to cost an average of $133. Those who missed the memo or live in rural areas with limited internet access run the risk of inadvertently becoming felons if they fail to comply within the 120-day deadline. Ensuring that you stay up to date with changing laws and regulations is critical, especially when it comes to firearms ownership. This recent situation highlights the importance of remaining informed and vigilant. If you happen to live in a remote location with limited access to the internet, it's possible that you may have missed the news and not be aware of the ATF's new regulations. Failing to comply with these regulations within the given 120-day time frame could result in you becoming a felon. It's important to stay informed and take the necessary action to avoid any legal repercussions. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay on top of changing laws and regulations to ensure that you are in compliance with the law. Disbanding the ATF. Representative Gates from Florida has made headlines with his proposal to disband the ATF. While some may see this as a positive development for gun rights, others see it as mere virtue signaling, as the proposal is unlikely to gain traction. However, it is important to note that as the ATF's conduct becomes more egregious, there may be a growing push for change in a more pro-Second Amendment direction. It remains to be seen whether this proposal will gain any real momentum or it will merely serve as a symbolic gesture. However, there is a significant point to make here, and that is the ATF's conduct has become increasingly flagrant. Consequently, the political climate may eventually shift towards a more pro-Second Amendment stance, leading to consequences down the line. Of course, this remains to be seen as it depends on whether the ATF continues with its current trajectory of flip-flopping on firearm regulations. It's worth noting that there are numerous examples of the ATF changing its stance on firearms. The most recent example is the pistol brace ruling. Another instance is the case of bump stocks, of which there were tens of thousands in circulation. Last we checked, there were only about 580 bump stocks that were turned in to the ATF, leaving many thousands of them still out there. The ATF now considers them illegal machine guns, creating a potential problem for those who possess them. However, it is worth noting that there are around 180,000 lawful machine guns, known as .386 transferables, which can be legally owned. PMFs are privately manufactured firearms. We'll now touch on the issue of homemade firearms, such as gun kits and privately manufactured firearms. These are referred to as PMFs, or privately manufactured firearms. The ATF is currently cracking down on these firearms, particularly with the receiver frame rule. For those who are not familiar with the PMFs, the issue is determining when a piece of plastic or metal that vaguely resembles a firearm but is not fully assembled can be considered a firearm. The question is, at what point does it become a functional firearm when the pieces are put together? The ATF initially stated that once a firearm was 80% manufactured, it was considered a firearm and had to go through the standard transfer procedures and be marked with a serial number. However, they have since flip-flopped on this stance, causing confusion and chaos surrounding the regulations on homemade firearms. To many, it may appear that the ATF is intentionally causing confusion, but if you really think about it, the situation is much worse. How? Well, when the ATF approves a device or item and permits individuals to purchase it and then later reverses its decision, it all leads to legal penalties, and since they don't exactly go out of their way to warn everyone, those who are unaware of the recent flip-flopping will be penalized. The forced reset triggers, or FRTs, required a letter to inform people of the change, but for others, such as the new pistol brace rule, if you missed the memo, it could land you in prison. It is clearly legislation via bureaucracy where the ATF just creates a rule, such as the $200 tax in the case of Form 1, without needing to go through anyone else. Update on Cargill v. Garland. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, based in Louisiana, has issued an update regarding the ATF's authority. In the case of Cargill v. Garland, the court ruled that the ATF is not authorized to pass laws, but is instead responsible for rulemaking. Therefore, the ATF is overstepping its authority when it determines that bump stocks are legal and not considered a machine gun, only to change its stance years later and declare them illegal. This inconsistency in the ATF's decisions and their changing interpretations of the law based on political winds and different appointees in power is problematic and undermines their authority. To sum it up quickly, the case of Cargill v. Garland in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals concluded that the ATF cannot pass laws but only create rules, and they are exceeding their authority by changing their stance on bump stocks from being legal to felonious based on political winds and new appointees. Although there are more details to the case, this is a brief overview. It remains to be seen what will happen with the ATF's ability to make rules, as the Cargill v. Garland case is being appealed and could go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. The outcome will determine the extent of the ATF's discretion in classifying new devices, such as the XMG MG34 upper for an AR-15 or the Atkins accelerator stock, as legal or not. As I mentioned earlier, the ATF has a track record of flip-flopping on their classifications, such as with bump stocks, and their actions have left gun owners confused and potentially in violation of the law. The ultimate decision on the scope of the ATF's rulemaking power will have significant implications for gun owners and the firearms industry. The consequences of the ATF's flip-flopping on its rulings have far-reaching effects, not just in terms of legal and criminal repercussions, but also on the economy and people's lives. Many Americans invest their entire lives and savings into building a product relying on the ATF's initial rulings, only to have their investments destroyed when the ATF suddenly changes its mind. The fallout from these flip-flops extends to distributors, stores, supply chains, and individuals who have been duped into purchasing something that was initially deemed lawful by the ATF. The damage caused by the ATF's actions is substantial, and it remains to be seen how long they will be able to continue down this path. And that's all I have for you in this video. This is the first time we've made a video like this. If you want more of these types of videos, please let us know in the comments. If you care about your Second Amendment rights, please help our channel grow by clicking on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And tap that notification bell too while you're at it, just so you're always updated on our future videos. Thanks, and have a good one.